to drop the RPM because I don't want to piss too many neighbors off. Good morning, everyone. So welcome back to the channel. Vasil at the Built for Speed here. So today's video is going to be about dyno day. I told you guys I will get this tune figured out, done after the intake manifold, because I did a dyno before intake manifold. We got the tune perfectly dialed in, we got the numbers, and then this is the day that hopefully Hilton said, according to Hilton, the tune is perfectly dialed in after the intake manifold. So I'm gonna dyno the car and see where we're at now with the numbers. So I'm just waiting right now at English Racing here. So we're gonna go in a little bit, get on the dyno, and then check, make sure the air and fuel AFR is good, if that is good, and see what the numbers are, if we gained or lost some power. Yeah, so this video is gonna be all about that. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm kind of nervous, kind of excited, kind of don't really want to be here. It's raining right now, so it's like I started being here too many times. You know, I haven't done anything besides tune adjustments to this car since last dyno, so you can see I'm not that excited about it, but I promised you guys and I'm trying to hold my word. And you know, so you guys have some clarity for you guys, you know, if the intake manifold, you know, did anything or not power wise. I would still do the intake manifold even if I didn't gain anything. As long as I didn't lose any power, I would still get it, because the airflow distribution is way better than original. The flow is better, so it's better for cooling, better for your cylinders, for everything is better. So even if there's no power gains, I would still do the intake manifold. So don't get it wrong. Just, you know, if I get, you know, if the numbers are still the same or just a tiny bit different, I will still be happy, because just the fact of the design and how much, you know, healthier the engine is with it. All right, we got some awesome numbers. First pull, 347 horsepower, 499 foot-pounds of torque. So 499.9. That is crazy. 347 horsepower. Wow, I'm happy. First pull, 12.2 AFR. So that's usually the AFR on there is like 0.5 off, so probably 11.7, 0.8 about there. So yeah, this is actually awesome. I'm happy. Guys, I'm super excited now. I was coming here, I really didn't want to be here. Like, I was like, what am I coming here for? Why am I here? I haven't done anything to the car. Like, I didn't have that excitement. Now after the dyno pull, I'm like, boy, am I happy. Like, first pull, pretty much the AFR is perfect, the power is amazing. Like, look at this, we got 347.7, so 348 horsepower, wheel horsepower, 499.9, so that's 500 torque at 3100 RPM, and then the horsepower is at 40 pretty much, 4,000 RPM. This is crazy. And then this is second pull, 341 horsepower and 43. That's pretty much the car got hotter, and then the torque is 493, the second pull, so the car got hotter. And then this center one, the blue one, is the one from last time, you know, before manifold, intake manifold, when the tune was perfect before the intake manifold. We made 332 and 455 torque, wheel torque, before the manifold. So that's before the manifold, 332, and after 348, and then before the manifold 454, 455 pretty much, and then after the manifold 500 pretty much torque. That's insane. Like, now I'm making 348 wheel horsepower and 500 torque. That's wheel, that's not crank, that's not engine, that's actual wheel horsepower. I don't know, I have not met a single person on regular 92 octane gas, on premium gas, whatever they call them, 92 octane gas with full tank. Like, I did not put any additives or anything. Like, this is, I'm probably making the most. have not met a single person or that messaged me or commented anywhere that made this kind of power with just a few bolt-ons. Well, intake manifold, intake itself, with piping, intake, intercooler and a downpipe with catted downpipe, well, with catback exhaust, obviously. That's it. I haven't done the injectors, I haven't done the intercooler piping yet. What else can I do with these cars for bolt-on? So intercooler piping, injectors, well, yeah, I don't see a point. But intercooler piping is definitely I can do, and I can actually add the meth injection. If I add meth, I'm probably going to be around 400 horsepower and probably around 600 torque wheels, with, if I had to guess, with meth injection on this car and a tune adjustment. So wow, I thought, you know, to break the 400 horsepower limit I would have to do the big turbo, but at this point right now I don't think so. I think I can throw a meth injection on this thing and I could break the 400 horsepower wheel horsepower and probably 550 600 torque at the wheels. Wow, I'm actually really happy now. We did it 3 pulls just for the kicks. Obviously the first pool was best because it was colder, because I drove probably 40-minute drive, so the car was warm. The first pool we did the best, 348 horsepower and 490, pretty much 500 torque. Second one we lost a few horsepower and a few torque because obviously the car got hotter. You know, the more pulls we did, the hotter it got, the lower the numbers got. But yeah, 348 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque. So one more thing I wanted to add, that we did not have, the AFR did not change from before the manifold to the after manifold. The tuning, everything, the AFR stayed the same. So that seems to be the perfect AFR for this car. For the power and for the way he likes to drive, that's perfect. 12.2. Well, the wideband on the dynos are about 0.5, 0.4 off. So they're too much. So it's like if it was 12.2, so the actual AFR is probably 11.7, 11.8. So yeah, the AFR doesn't change with what upgrades you do. Well, at least you haven't yet. The tunes that we've done, it seemed like the 12.2 mark on the dyno, where in reality it's about 11.7, 11.8. It seems to be the perfect AFR for the air and fuel ratio for this car. All right, so and then a few more things. So I wanted to clarify, I have been using the same dyno, the same tuner guy, whoever, you know, the guy that was hooking me up on the dyno and everything, you know, putting the car on the dyno and testing it. Same guy, same shop, everything was the same. Every tune, every dyno session I had, so it was the same thing. So I wanted to make sure everything was the same and I wasn't, you know, going back and forth because maybe there was a difference. So I didn't want to have any of those speculations. And also Hilton has been tuning everything, so I'm really actually proud and thankful to Hilton for actually taking his time and actually figuring this car out, removing all the limiters and everything that was holding this car back. He tuned this car perfect, so the fuel economy, power, everything is perfect now. And don't forget, I'm running with catalytic converter from KT4, catted. I don't have, my car is not catless, so it's catted with the cat in it. So I'm really actually really happy and really proud of, you know, myself and Hilton and English Racing for actually, you know, being through this with me. And I'm really happy what I made. I invested money into this car and it really paid off, like big time. I don't regret anything now. Okay, so for those of you guys who maybe is new to the channel, and for those of you that are still following, that lost track of what I have upgraded in this car, so I'll go through with power mods, mainly just power mods, because that's all that this matters. If you're looking for power gains, this is all that's gonna matter to you. So I have an intercooler. You can get a DO88, the small one or the thin long one, it doesn't really matter. The intercooler, I have intake with the piping from Snabb, Group AM, Snabb, they both sell those intakes. We had great success. Make sure when you get an intake, make sure it's straight, it doesn't have a bend in it, in the cone intake before the mass airflow sensor, or anywhere near there. So yeah, so we have intercooler, we have the intake with piping. I have a KT4 downpipe with a cat in it, catalytic converter in it, and we have a kpax exhaust, which is now the Elevate GT catback exhaust on it. So intercooler, downpipe with catback, intake piping with intake, blah blah blah. Sorry, And then we have a GFB diverter valve. So it's a valve that holds boost better, and it's metal instead of compared to the OEM one, which is rubber and plastic. So that's all the upgrade you need for the GFB diverter valve. You don't need to replace the whole valve completely, whatever anybody tells you. I'm running 23 psi boost, and I've been doing it for a while now, and it hauls like who knows what. It's really strong now, holds boost good. Numbers, as you see on the dyno, are awesome. So yeah, that's all we have. We just have a few bolt-ons. Like for another bolt-on that I can do is intercooler piping. That may increase airflow because the original ones are really tiny. So yeah, we may even reach over 350 wheel horsepower with if I do like the intercooler piping. That's all I need to add, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be over the 350 horsepower and probably over 500 torque at the wheels easily. So yeah, I'm super excited, super glad actually that I invested my time for the dyno, and thank you Hilton for investing his time to figure this car out. He's probably learned a lot from this car, from tuning my car, because not a lot of people, like I said in the previous videos, not a lot of people take these cars to the dyno. So now he doesn't get a chance a lot as he gets with my car to see what the car does and how the car is acting. So yeah, I'm super pumped. So what do you guys think I should do next? I think I'm gonna probably order original turbo and send it out to the company, a turbo building company that I talked to, and have the turbo built next. I'm thinking to add meth and methanol injection with the turbo upgrade, but I will see, I don't know. I'm still debating. So I'm gonna do the hybrid turbo build, custom, and then I'm gonna upgrade the wastegate on the turbo as well. I'm probably gonna keep this original the diverter valve on the turbo because I have the GFB valve and it's been awesome, and I want to run it until it starts leaking. If it does leak, I want to prove a lot of people wrong, because a lot of people have been saying the GFB and original one fails. So I'm gonna take it to the limit and I'm gonna test it, so that way you guys have to get some content, and I have some proof, you know, to people. If it holds over 23 psi boost or whatever and it doesn't leak, and if I upgrade the turbo and it still doesn't leak, I'll be the living proof that this diverter valve with GFB, a mechanical replacement, is perfect. So I will do that. So that will be probably next. And then intercooler piping, do you guys want me to do the intercooler piping first before I do the turbo upgrade, to see if I can break the 350 wheel horsepower limit and over the 500 torque? I don't know, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Okay, so before I go in this video, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a reaction type of deal, or how is it driving this kind of car with 500 wheel foot-pounds torque, because that's a lot of torque. Even for a diesel truck to have that kind of torque at the wheels, that's a lot. But for a gas car, oh man, you guys wouldn't believe it how fun it is driving a car with this kind of torque. And I mean, 350 wheel horsepower, that's not little horsepower. That's pretty much 400 or maybe even a little over 400 engine horsepower rated. So if this car was at the dealership, they would advertise it with like maybe 410 horsepower crank horsepower and probably around 600 torque, maybe 550, 570 torque. So that's a lot of horsepower. So technically this car, if you're going by the dealer numbers, this like 570 foot-pounds of torque and about 410 horsepower at the dealer advertisement numbers. But at the wheels, this car has 500 foot-pounds of torque and 348 wheel horsepower to be exact. So this car, it's really fun. I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna pull out around on the corner and you guys will get my reaction type of deal. You know, me, you know, going up into the city is not just me trying to pretend like this is fast. This car has a lot of torque because I mean, even under Scotty's channel, Scotty Kilmer, he had a video and a bunch of people commented, oh, look at him, like, you know, put himself into the seat before he even floored it. No, I wasn't kidding. This car has a lot of torque. That's the only reason why it puts me in the seat, because it actually does. It's really fun. It's really fun to drive. There's not a lot of cars that can put up with this kind of torque with this car with like low RPM or low, you know, low speed races. Like if you do a low speed race, there's not a lot of cars that will keep up. At the higher speed it will, because this car runs out of breath kind of. So all right, let's floor it. So I'm going, well, let's say 20 miles an hour, and I just decided to floor it. Every time I get in this car, it's like I've been driving it for what, 2 years now, and every single time I get on the pedal, man, it puts a smile on my face. Like, look, I'm going what, about 30 now, 30 miles an hour in sport. I just floor it. Man, oh man, like there's so much excitement in my like, I don't know if you guys have a chance to drive a car with 500 wheel torque, I would suggest you do it. You will see, you'll put a big smile on your face. The, you know, torque, like, you know, it's one of the things that makes your car look fast or feel fast. Now look, I'm just saying, you know, like how they say, there's a saying, you know, I heard it from an older gentleman long time ago: torque wins races, horsepower sells cars. And that's the truth. I'm telling you guys, torque wins races. You know, torque is what gets your car moving really fast. Man, oh man, it's fun. It's a blast to drive this car every single day. Like, I am not bored of this car. Like, this is the first car I ever owned that I don't even, to be honest, don't even feel like selling. And I don't think I would want to sell it unless I got like a crazy offer. Maybe I would complicate and then just you know, actually think about selling. Pretty much what I meant. If somebody gave me a crazy offer, other than that, I would never post this car for sale. I don't think, no, never. Probably I'd probably run this car into the ground before I sell it. I may end up purchasing another vehicle to modify, but this car is here to stay. I'm just gonna probably modify and push the limits of this car, and just pretty much post everything, you know, and let you guys get into the process of this car build. And I'll be the guy probably, or the only guy probably, proving what this car is capable of. I'm testing pretty much everything stock. You know, I'm not just one of those people. I know a lot of people, a lot of friends that started just modifying everything in this car. Started modifying the torque converter and this and that and diverter valve, you know, and then just claiming, oh, that's weak, that's that, that's this. I'm pushing everything. I'm going to be pushing everything to the limit. So I'm going to be telling you guys, you know, what the stock diverter valve can handle, you know, with the GFB mechanical replacement, you know, what bunch of other stuff, what the engine can handle, the stock engine, what it can push, you know, what the stock transmission can push. Well, obviously I upgraded some springs and some stuff in the valve body inside the transmission, so it's a high pressure valve body, so it supplies the oil at a lot higher rate to the clutches, so it's not burning the clutches as much, because the stock one is a low pressure one, so it doesn't necessarily have the ability to supply oil fast enough to the clutches, and that will ends up burning that's how you end up with a bad transmission, you know, start slipping and all that, because, you know, there wasn't fast enough supply of oil to the clutches when you got on it, and it ended up burning the clutches. So that's about it. So I'm just gonna be modifying this car and just, you know, seeing what it can do, and just keep modifying and just see what it's capable of. I'm probably gonna end up, I'm thinking, you know, hybrid turbo build, you know, put it at, you know, 450 wheel horsepower and maybe 500 torque, maybe 550 torque, and then we'll see from there. You know, I will see how the car acts there. If it feels comfortable, we'll take a step higher, but that will be, you know, with time. I'm not gonna be doing everything just, you know, boof, because I'm not a rich guy. I'm just a regular guy like any of you guys that works, you know, to make money. I have a house, I need to take care of the house stuff, so this will be slowly, you know, I'll be posting everything. I'll be going to the drag ships. I'll have some fun videos on this car, on, you know, on the abilities of this car and times and testing it and all that. So, and then plus the s60Rs that we have and the blue one also. So I'll have a lot of content for you guys. All right, so for the numbers again, for the dyno chart, so we made 347.7, so 348 horsepower and 499.9, so 500 torque, wheel torque. The torque is at 3100 RPM and the horsepower is at 4,000 RPM pretty much. So yeah, the red line is right here, the torque, and then the green line is the second run with it, and the blue one is from before. This is the intake manifold blue line, the torque, and then the horsepower. That's the blue line right here. That's when we made before the intake manifold, when we were perfect tune, 332 and 455 torque. That was before the intake manifold. That's the numbers that we got on the dyno. So that, I think, puts my car to be the fastest s60 I know in the United States, well maybe even worldwide, with this kind of horsepower and torque numbers before even having full bolt-on. So I don't even have the intercooler piping, I don't have any E85, I don't have a methanol injection, nothing with the car. So as the car is now, I haven't heard or I haven't saw anybody with more horsepower with these kind of mods to these cars as I have. So that's why I'm planning to name this video the fastest s60 T6 in the United States. You know, we'll see. That's the fastest s60 T6, stage 2 I meant, you know, with the piping. Well, besides the intercooler, with the intercooler piping, I can probably add maybe a few more horsepower. Maybe make it 350, 300, a little bit over 350 horsepower, and maybe a little bit over 500 torque. So yeah, I'm really excited. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as usual, see you next time.